Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM. So this time we get a figure set in 1/35 scale, which might be handy with the recent release in the same scale from the same brand. And of course we have a commercial sample here, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. So those are US helicopter pilots from 1960s, 1970s, and it might be handy with the CH-54 and also with the Cobra helicopter, which we reviewed recently. So you can notice that here we have, I would say, the typical size of the box for figurines from ICM. Here is comparison with my hand, and also box art actually shows them stepping into the CH-54, but I guess you can also use them with the Cobra, even though it's not depicted here. I'm pointing at the helicopter in the background, but it's also Tarhe in the same scale, I guess. So here on the side you'll find some information about this kit, also information about the manufacturer. Here we have 41 parts for assembly of 4 figurines. Obviously glue and paints are not included, just like in any other plastic kit. And here you can see also the, let's say, profiles for these pilots, but we will check it closer once we open this box, and you can see everything is sealed with the tape. So I'm going to cut through it, and then we will check the plastic frames which are inside. And in the meantime, I can also remind you that usually ICM releases a lot of figurine sets, so I hope that we will see more of the helicopter related releases in the near future. In 1/35 scale it should be even more interesting, because you can combine it into some interesting diorama scene. And let's not forget that there is a lot of armor available in this scale, which you can use with the CH-54. And now what I'm doing is trying to open this tiny box, because the fitment of the top lid is a bit tight, so it's really difficult to take it out. And here you can see that it's really flexible. It does not protect the parts. What is actually protecting is this white cardboard box. And if I open it, here is what we have inside. So we have all of these frames packed into the resealable plastic bag. And again, I remind you that we have here 4 pilots in 1/35 scale. So I'm going to open it. It's a resealable plastic bag, so you can use it later for storing the remaining parts in case you don't use all of the pilots at once. And I would like to start with the small plastic sprue. So it comes in a pair, and here we have absolutely identical plastic parts. And if I zoom in here, you can see what I'm talking about. So those are the helmet parts for the pilots. And frankly speaking, it's a bit funny to see the helmets assembled out of 2 hulls. So you have to be careful while doing so, because otherwise you might end up with a really ugly result. And note that the visor is also pre-molded, so you do not have the separate clear part. And for some models it might be something to work on and to try to replicate the clear element. But, well, I guess for 1/35 scale it might suffice, who knows. Next, we continue with the pilot figurines. So I guess here we will not be zooming out. First, we check the each of the corners in a zoomed-in view, because each of the corners is dedicated to the parts for one figurine. Obviously, they are pre-positioned, so you won't be able to change much. So, for example, here we have the standing pilot, and you won't be able to place him inside the helicopter. But overall molding quality and the details, which are pre-molded, as you can see, they look good. So the sculpting is done on the top level. Even though this is a plastic kit, I would say it can rival some of the resin sets. And you can see that there are a lot of, I would say, small features coming out of the box, so it will require some careful painting, maybe trying to pick out of these details with the washes. But here you can see also another 3rd pilot. So again, we have pretty much the same design, and I would say the quality of those parts, body parts, they look also quite good, but keep in mind that there are no guiding elements whatsoever. So again, it will be important to get the right fitment. Note that here for the climbing pilot, which is climbing on the stairs, so here, or on the steps, we have the leg molded together with the torso, which is quite unusual in comparison with these figurines, but I guess it was necessary in order to predefine the pose. And again, talking about the guiding elements, if I flip it over here, you can see that there are no guiding pins, no guiding tabs whatsoever, so you have to be careful. Maybe with this climbing pilot we will have the let's say his leg working as a guiding element, but that's pretty much all. And of course we should know the molding quality. So as you can see, there was no flash, no any other possible molding problem, so it's just a matter of separating all of those parts. And I really like that we have the minimum attachment points on each of the parts. So as you can see, usually it's only one part except of the legs and torso, where we have 2 attachment points, and I guess it's necessary for the molding technology in order to have more features coming out of the box. But overall, it's really nice thing to have. And next we continue with the assembly manual. So here I will have to close the lenses a bit, and it is printed on the separate paper. So here we have the parts map, and also we have the paint chart. Note that the paint numbers are given in ICM designations, so in case you would like to convert it somehow, you have to let's say work it out, some conversion table, because it's not provided here. But there is a special set, as you can see here, which carries exactly the necessary paints for those figurines. So maybe it would be a wise idea just to get the ICM set and paint it with help of it, because usually those paints were quite nice to work with brush. And by the way, here we have the small add insert in the box, and they already cover in a lot of colors, so it's quite an interesting development from ICM. And by the way, I also used those paints in some of my builds, so that's why I'm saying that they're quite good. Okay, so here we continue with the assembly manual, which is combined with the marking guide. So here you can see this climbing pilot in a quite interesting pose, I would say. So it will be a matter of positioning him properly with the helicopter. Note that this next pilot, he has the helmet in his hand, and actually here we do not have any mention whether you can place these helmets which were supplied onto the head, or you should use this cap only, which you can see here on both marking guide sides. So also another thing to remember is that we do not have any decals, so even though here we have the patches shown, you will have to draw them. You do not have the decals to replicate them, and in 1/35 scale it might be quite cumbersome thing, because that's something what is visible on the model. So maybe it's a good idea to find some aftermarket set which will actually copy these patches and squad signs, or maybe you will be fine, you have enough skill to replicate it with your own brush and hands. And overall, this kit looks like a nice addition for the helicopter build. Even if you don't plan to build the diorama, those figurines should be a good way to show the size of the real subject. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release. Do you use any figurines with your aircraft builds? Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.